Well, hey everybody. Well, this is our kind of grand culmination of so many tastings and going through the deductive process of wine tasting. So uh, no real need for a lecture this time. We're just going to be getting straight into the wine now. Um, for those of you on YouTube that are going to be watching this, we got all of our wines from Lifetime Vintage, and they're all labeled 1 through 4, 2 whites, 2 reds, and yeah, and we also got a nice little cheat sheet that I'll be uh, displaying here in just a moment, so that we can kind of go through these. And yeah, so let's go ahead and pour number 1 and see what we have. All right. So we'll go with our site first. This is looking on the pale yellow. If anyone disagrees.
It's really light. Yeah, I say maybe 12, 5, 13.
And then we'll take our sheet of paper and see if there's any rim variation. I mean, it's looking just kind of, on that silverly line. So, I mean, this is probably, a fairly young white. And then let's go ahead and give it a little spin to see what the legs are on it. That might give us, a little bit of an idea of, is this old world or new world?
It's something I can't identify. It's
okay. And I'd say those are
something in the chalkiness kind of.
Those are looking kind of thin. So I'm going to guess probably this is going to be around 12.5 in terms of its alcohol. Okay, so now for the group participation, let's go ahead and give this thing a swirl and a sniff.
Mm.
That's strong for chalky mineral. Yeah, it's like third or fourth down.
Right. So I wonder if it's Gruner or maybe some Sauvignon Blanc.
well.
But I know.
Before we start getting into the guessing, why don't we just go through the notes on like what we're smelling?
But it's so tempting because they give you the names.
I know.
They're like me, I think, right?
Well, I'm getting pear in the nose, and Kurt's getting some kind of a mineral-y chalky.
Okay.
And I get mineral too, Kurt.
So there is our little cheat sheet. And so you said you're getting more of like a mineral?
Yeah.
That'd be higher the acid, I think.
What are we getting? Like, which kind of fruit are we getting?
I think pear.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting pear, and I got a whiff of apple at the beginning.
Yeah, there's definitely that kind of like yellow apple.
It's definitely like not the green apple.
And I'm definitely not really getting a whole lot of grass, or definitely not, I'm not getting a lot of floral on it.
So you say like a butter creamy kind of things, maybe. Then that would be the
Team with them or whatever. Like I'm bearing gifts, that's always a safe bet. Yeah. But I didn't know about Crown Black. I've always been velvet. It's a little.
Okay.
It's like a flowery chamomile maybe is in there.
So we're thinking that there's a floral note to this.
I'm getting honey, and Kurt's getting floral.
All right. Well, I think we've we've sniffed it enough. Let's go ahead and give this thing our first taste. So, cheers.
Hmm. So the beginning does not match the middle.
No.
For me, it was very like kind of Swedish, like sweet and full in the beginning, and then the middle was not. I mean, I'll have another sip, but it was really interesting.
Oh, sweet. So you're at the beginning. Okay. So I think
But it's rounder on the finish.
this isn't probably California, but I still like South America Chenin Blanc, but it could be like French Chardonnay. Bordeaux region. No, the other Burgundy region. Burgundy nation. Chardonnay.
Yeah, it's still different on the middle. It's kind of flat in the middle. But it has a round opening and a longer finish. It's just interesting.
Yeah, it's super juicy up front.
Yeah, that's where I'm saying the middle is really like, whoa.
Could be a Chenin Blanc or a Chardonnay.
Yeah, I'm getting some acidity in the end.
Yeah,
Kind of.
that's why I'm going with medium.
But this right.
So acid.
Yeah.
Over here.
So what are the other people thinking?
Yeah, for white, sure.
I don't know. Like I said, it's got. There's definitely like this weird kind of woody, just like almost like not to the point of hay, but it's definitely got this weirdish,
Could be where there would be like Virginia.
point to it that I don't know. I was thinking that it was pretty acidic, but I still think
But it does have a longer finish, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Not expected. I mean, just.
Okay, hi there. Here's another opinion. I love this. It's nice.
Yeah.
It's got I think a pear start. I think there's some mineral that comes through on it. And I think that it is I like it a lot. It's a complex flavor. And if you eat it with different foods, you've tried things, it's amazing how the flavor is changing. So I recommend if you guys have any food with you to try a bite and then take a sip and see how it differs.
Oh, definitely.
So Richard, are we going to try and guess what's in it?
What do you mean? What's in it?
Like what?
What wine? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, what grapes?
Oh, I don't think I know that much.
No, I'm just asking. Is that kind of a part of what we're going to do?
Yeah, I'm gonna say I'm going with South African Chenin Blanc.
Ooh.
See, I taste
I
more
mean-
of a lemon than I
See,
do
and
a
that's
pear.
it was either going to be South African or it was going to be like Vouvray,
You taste that?
Yeah, so
like French Vouvray, which is also Chenin Blanc.
that's what Rob is arguing. And then maybe is that Burgundy area?
Or no, Vouvray is Loire Valley, way up north.
Yeah, because I'm going to take back. I don't think it's Gruner.
I
Might
can take
be-
both of those, like the Loire Valley or.
Not on
But the more that, but because of it being so juicy and a lot less, because usually that's, the one thing that they don't have on the cheat sheet is, kind of like old world versus new world, but I would guess that they would be wanting to, you to already know that, if it's got like a whole lot of fruit up front, more than likely, well, you're looking at new world, and then if it's a lot more, kind of drawn back and you're having to, pick out those like flavors and you're looking at more like minerality and whatnot. Okay, well, then you're probably at old world. So, yeah, I think I'm going with, the same thing as Kurt, that this is most likely, I mean, other than if this is some funky thing from California, yeah, we're looking at probably a South African Chenin Blanc I'd probably say less than 2 years old. So it'd probably be like 2020, 2019.
But we're thinking old world in style.
No, I'm
No,
thinking
New World.
Yeah.
Huh, because of the fruit on the beginning.
Because it's super fruity, and
Okay.
Loire Valley is pretty cold, and those white grapes are really kind of like drawn in terms of like their flavor profiles. And this has such a kind of a, not baked, but it has kind of a that fresh, luscious fruitiness to it.
See, I know my old world, new world in reds. I'm not as familiar with whites. That's where I was just like, that's interesting. All right, I'm gonna go grab a pen because I kind of want to write down.
So the question is, do we want to do the reveal now or at the end?
To the end.
Will we remember if we do it at the end?
Well, write it down.
We're writing it down, so.
Oh, we'll do it at the end.
So we can
We all
discuss it.
vote now.
Our party is split half now, half later, so just.
I'm for the end.
Yeah, let's see if we're so that way it's, well, I mean, as much as us being able to have like a really good feel that our first guess came out right, I kind of like seeing if we can we can nail them all before we confirm that even one of our deductions was right.
So
No,
Richard,
but-
we're gonna pair a little bit with food before we go to the next one or not?
Yeah.
Okay.
Start pairing, and because especially because as you're pairing, maybe something else is going to come out. Whether, well, either one, it's going to fortify that yes, this is what we think it is, or no, we're getting with the food, we're getting something new in there that might change our minds.
Blueberry goat.
Okay. One of my favorite things, but if you do like a fruity, more kind of thing.
I think it goes well with it.
So Richard, have you gone tasting in Washington State at all?
Oh yeah. I've done
Here.
like the Columbia Valley, Walla Walla.
Okay, I was just in Woodinville for the last 6 days, and so I got to like hit just a couple a day because my friend lived there. So I was having fun swishing and trying to predict alcohol percentages. And yeah, it was fun to do a couple a day. My friend was like, well, you better pass your test. I was like, thanks, no pressure.
Oh, it's a good wine.
It makes me think it's a Chardonnay.
But of course, we were doing mostly reds because that's what we both like. So
Media wine, not to it.
So he's saying New World, where do you think it'd be a Chardonnay from?
Oh,
It's not California. Well,
I was thinking French. Is it domain?
The only thing that kind of worries me about it, because usually Chenin Blanc isn't this light in terms of its color. Usually Chenin Blanc is a little bit deeper.
So Rob wants to call it Chardonnay from the Loire Valley. So we have a
French Chardonnay, yeah. That's kind of where I'm leaning right now.
Not like from a Loire or from like Burgundy, like Chablis.
Yeah, probably more like Burgundy. It's pairing with everything, like my chicken, my arugula salad, manchego, of course, a blueberry goat cheese, even a cheddar, and a bite of ribeye that's been caramelized is actually pairing nicely too. I think it's a really complex wine, so I'm thinking it's more of a Chardonnay, is my thought.
I haven't tasted enough French wines to know. I was putting it more as a Sauv Blanc or a Pinot Grigio, but we'll see.
Well, the only thing, so Sauv Blanc is definitely much more on the
Acidic.
well, acidic and also citrus. So we'd be getting a lot more like lime, lemon, and orange.
The manchego is pretty good. Did you try it with your manchego?
Oh yeah, yeah, that's
Like
pretty
that.
tasty. It gets real creamy.
Mhm. I think grapes are going to just be something I add to charcuterie from now on.
That's what we get without the olives.
Oh, I forgot olives.
I mean, that's enough. Yeah.
But there isn't a lot of like green grassy coming out of it either. So,
Right.
which is the other, main note of say like a Sauv Blanc is,
Sure.
is looking for, well, hey, is are you getting that kind of jalapeno, green pepper, grass, maybe grapefruit note to it.
I tasted a dry Viognier, which was so interesting because it was so like on the nose, it was so Viognier, and then it had none of the sweet that you were expecting. It was really fascinating. When I was in Washington, I was just like, wow, that's really weird.
Yeah, this thing is definitely not green at all.
No.
Because I also just tried it with some pretty goaty goat cheese, and again, if there was any type of green, it should be kind of pronouncing itself.
Like it with the olives.
Weird with the cheddar. I don't know weird how, but weird.
Okay, so Skylar thinks Sauvignon Blanc as well.
It does go. It brings up the fruit. So
Yeah.
I'm not getting like a strong taste. It's so soft. It's soft.
All right. How's everyone's glasses looking? We got ready for number 2?
Done. Almost done, but not
Okay.
quite.
So that's where I think that honey comes in where there's a good argument for Chardonnay.
That's what I'm arguing.
Well, Chenin Blanc's over there.
Making the cheddar sharper, which is interesting.
Yeah. Cheddar and whites. Well, just because cheddar has such a well, depending on which cheddar, but you normally if you're having like cheddar with wine, you're getting something kind of sharp or extra sharp, and usually it just it tends to dominate a white wine. Doesn't matter what kind of white wine. I guess there's a couple out there like Albariños that are just
Right.
kind of like full and oily that really go well with it. But other than that, yeah, your sharp cheddars they're more reserved for reds.
The medium
All right.
cheddar's okay.
What's that?
Okay.
The medium cheddar was okay. The sharp one, it just made it very sharp.
Yeah. All right. So wine number 2.
It's a little more golden, a little darker. It's might be,
I'm getting more lemon.
maybe in 2019 or something.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So as we're looking at this,
That's
I think
good.
you kind of mentioned that this one's definitely a little bit darker. It's much more in that kind of yellowish range instead of light yellow, which already kind of gives us a bit more of a clue as to what this is. At least I would think. Still on the
Oh, wow. Pretty small.
still fairly new. Well, I mean, one, it's not anywhere close to a yellowing, but it's still got that kind of silver line on the edge.
Mhm.
All right, so give it a little bit of a swirl. See how this thing's pulling down. Those are kind of thick, thick and slow. which is telling me that this is probably a higher ABV, especially for a white. So this is probably in the like 13 to 14 range.
This is right.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So let's give it our spin and sniff.
Ooh,
Apple, but it's not like the green apple we get.
I got honey.
Yeah, honey.
I did. Yeah, still getting so much honey. Wow.
Yeah.
Like a red apple. Maybe.
And kind of caramel. So maybe not just honey, but some caramely.
Sweet. Like
Oh, what's everyone else smelling on this?
I think it's in the neighborhood of a red apple, kind of a. Still, I'm still getting a fruit note,
You're still getting what?
like kind of a fruit note, like
Oh yeah. Yeah. This is
Tree fruit.
yeah.
And Skylar, put yours in the chat if you want to. Yeah, awesome. Skylar likes the caramel too.
Well, I can see caramel in here. Smell caramel in here.
Yeah, hint. Yeah, definitely.
that's kind of that buttery honey. Almost it smells like pie crust.
Do you get any like a pineapple?
Yeah, a little bit.
Like
I'm definitely getting butter and honey.
Mhm.
And I also get the red apple and caramel.
So like no citrus, right? Anybody seeing citrus?
I'm not smelling any citrus.
Not smelling it.
I mean, I'm almost like if I'm looking at,
I'm getting
I don't know that I'm getting peachy or apricot-y or tropical, but if I was gonna have to call a fruit, it would be either apricot or a pineapple leaf,
Right.
but definitely not citrusy.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not a peachy, maybe apricot.
I'm getting
And I'm not really smelling anything mineral.
maybe that.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and give this thing a taste. Cheers.
Cheers.
This is not peanut. No. Definitely not. Wow, this is nice.
But it's not sweet. It's not like a Riesling.
I'm getting pear.
Wow. Again, it doesn't match the nose at all.
No.
Like,
It's
God, I'm getting a lot of mineral.
California.
Really?
There's no,
I am.
no none of the. This is not old world.
Definitely not.
And at the end, I'm getting some of the honey, but the beginning more mineral.
And it's a pretty type of
I'm getting some
body.
pear and honey as well in the taste. Even chocolate. I'm not sure if I'm getting some chocolate.
But I was really expecting a big buttery Chardonnay, and that's not
No.
matching the taste.
In the nose it is, but yeah, the taste is different.
Right, no, I'm just saying, like, if I was gonna say, what am I gonna taste? I'm like, no, that's not.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Right?
it's still pretty smooth in terms of.
Oh, smooth, but I was just thinking I was gonna have a big buttery Chardonnay
Yeah.
glass, not what it's tasting like.
So I have no idea what a Gewürztraminer is. But is
What?
this one of
A
those?
Gewürztraminer?
Yeah.
No,
I mean, we've had Gewürztraminer before,
Yeah,
like when we did Germany.
I think it would be sweeter and it would have a little bit more spice. I don't think it's a Gewürz.
Yeah, it definitely had that kind of baking spice piece to it.
You know,
Skylar said she said a little bit of honeysuckle when
Okay.
she tasted it.
acidic, not like, I mean, I would say here, but it can't be a peanut.
The medium-ish.
So I do get a little bit of the honey on the finish,
It could be done, yeah.
but not on the beginning.
I agree, it's not,
Doesn't, at least it doesn't seem like,
not the ones I bought.
right, right.
The beginning is just so much more acidic than I was expecting.
Really, I'm trying to find one I like anymore. And I am, but it's-
That's what I would say.
It depends what you're eating. But actually, that A to Z Chardonnay is how my wife go to.
Okay.
I think they nailed it.
I really like
I mean,
the.
me, I'm still getting, quite a bit of the that apple. Maybe not so much red as much more kind of like yellow apple.
Yeah, yellow or green. That's what, and I wasn't
Yeah.
getting any of that on the nose. I agree.
It wasn't actually not that sweet.
Okay.
Apple.
I'm with you. It's just much more acidic than I was expecting
Tuesday.
from the nose.
And it's still got like an oak, but there isn't the typical like malolactic fermentation that
No,
you're
none of
expecting. I mean, it was kind of, like I said, it was kind of on the nose, like
Yep.
you were expecting butter, but
I was, but it's not.
no. But I still taste wood.
I do in the middle and on the finish, and that's where I'm saying a little bit of the honey-ish. I think is kind of the fermentation, the wood,
Hold on to it for a while.
and it's not abrasive. It's just much more acidic than I was thinking from the nose. I didn't get the citrus appley on the nose.
Oh, and in terms of,
So it's kind of like
so I mean, like I said, for me, I'm definitely getting much more of like the, kind of appley.
Yeah,
And in terms of like the smells, smells, we're definitely getting that kind of, like apple pie, piece to it, but it's not so much in the taste. And as for like the acid, I mean, me, I'm thinking it's fairly well balanced. Like I said, it's not like overly, mallowed, so it's not going to be like super creamy. So I would almost kind of put this in like the like medium plus, between medium and high.
agreed. Yeah, it's just so different than how it smells. That's the biggest.
Now,
Janet, what do you guys think?
We were lagging a little bit. Sorry, we just finished number 1.
Oh, okay.
Okay, number 2. Quite a startling difference between number 1.
yes.
I don't think that there is a difference between the smell and the taste.
Okay, interesting.
To me, I'm definitely getting the yellow apple. So when you said apple pie, I think it would be more green smelling or more green tasting than the yellow. This is a very different,
Fried chicken nugget.
yeah, a very different drink from the other one, and I'm trying to figure out what goes best with it. I haven't tried the blue cheese yet, but I'm thinking that might be it.
Ooh, we'll see.
Yeah, I think that's going to be pretty. That'll be pretty interesting. I would think that the blue would make this kind of bitter.
Well, we'll see.
But blue
try
cheese
it
and
too.
apples are really good together.
Sure, because I mean it's kind of a stark contrast.
I'll let you know in 2 seconds.
Like there's no place where I would.
So what grapes are we thinking? I mean, I'm just trying to.
So I'm
Yeah, skip the
I'm
blue.
very. What's
Skip the blue, Janet. Skip the blue. It's not good.
Exactly. Yes, not good.
Caramel glaze thing.
I'm torn between Chard and like Pinot Grigio.
Yeah, that was kind of what I was thinking. But Chard, like not aged very long in wood, like or some kind of.
Well, it's aged in
French
wood.
oak.
Yeah, it's aged in oak, but for not very long, and there's no mallow, so or very little mallow.
Or it wasn't like, what's that one where it's aged and then it's aged again, or it's on the sur-lie or something like that? It's not
sur-lie. Yeah, which all that means is that it was aged with like the all the yeast still at the bottom.
Right, it's
Give
not
it
that.
nutty flavor, right? Surely.
Yeah, it gives you more of a nutty or more of it just
much more bready.
Round.
You're gonna get a lot more of that yeasty, taste and smell to it.
Yeah,
So if we're gonna,
it's not that.
if you were to call this a Pinot Grigio, would you say like, I'm gonna say Oregon or Washington because I don't think this is California.
It's definitely not Italian. I don't think.
I don't know. That's where I
I
was kind of.
definitely think
That's where I was kind of leaning. I was almost
Well,
kind of.
but I was gonna say, I think
Think
this
it's
is old
California.
world rather than new world. Do you think this is new world?
No, if it's Pinot Grigio, I would definitely be thinking this is from Italy.
Oh, Italian.
Mhm.
That's why I don't but I'm not getting any of the.
But it's that kind of a style.
I'm enjoying it too much for it to be a Pinot.
But maybe you like old world Pinot.
Well, I used to love Pinot Grigio, it's been my go-to. And now that I've been using this like wine tasting recording book, I've been drinking tons and tons of Pinot, trying to find one that I actually like. And I'm struggling to find one I actually like. And so I've gone to Gavi, which is much better in my palate.
Yeah, but you were probably drinking California Pinot, Rob.
I was drinking inexpensive Pinot.
Yeah, so I mean, that would make a big difference, right?
Yeah, that's true.
All right, I'm gonna try some food with it and see what I think.
Okay, so we just had some Havarti with it and it's fabulous.
Ah, I can see that because it's
Yep.
a little bit sharp, the
Yeah,
Havarti, but well, it can be sharp, but it also has some creaminess to it.
A lot
Yeah,
of
it's
creaminess. Yeah.
Really good. And I'm wondering if this isn't something maybe German?
Hmm. Tell me why, Janet. I'm curious.
Northern Italy. Well, no, that wouldn't be it. I don't know. I like it. I like it all. Okay. But it's not good with blue cheese. We know that. Okay.
I feel like kind of high acid.
Where is it up here? I don't see it up
So
here.
Let's go with brie, but pretty much any white wine is good with brie.
But this, I think it's more acidic than this.
That's kind of a gimme.
You getting a medium or a
To me, I mean, this isn't like ripe. Well, even though it's apple, it's not like super ripe apple.
No, it's not ripe sweet apple. It's more like apple that needs to sit for another like 2 weeks on the tree.
Which is why, I'm definitely leaning more, whether it's French Chardonnay or Italian Pinot Grigio. This is, to me, this is much more old world.
Okay, I can.
Yeah. Agreed. Well, it's not like the Chardonnay I like. I mean, I've said I like Chardonnay that tastes like chewing out wood chips. So that's me, which is the malolactin.
Mhm.
It's not great. It's right.
Does anyone else have any guesses?
I like French Chardonnay better than Italian Pinot.
Skylar thinks
It's
it's
the wrong
Chenin
answer.
Blanc.
Sauvignon Blanc's not horrible as a guess. But I'm out. I'm out of the league.
Yeah, Sauv Blanc, Chenin Blanc, Gruner Veltliner. But it's not really high acid, it's low acid. So it's more of the Grunzenheimer. And I'm getting the butter, cream, honey, which is Grunzenheimer, on the floral. But in the fruit, it's maybe more Chenin Blanc Chardonnay. And then on the body, though, it's still Grunzenheimer because it's medium body.
This is the wine that's going to get me kicked out of song school.
So this is a wine that will get you kicked out of Psalm school?
Yeah.
Did you like it too much or what?
No, I'm all over the fence on it.
Oh, okay.
I can't land it.
Yeah, it's hard to lean. So we've got several votes then. It sounds like we've got some people saying French Chardonnay. I'm saying the Grunzenheimer. You're saying Pinot Grigio.
Gewürztraminer?
Yeah, that too.
Gewürz. It brought out the goat. It brought out the goat and goat cheese.
All right. So Skylar thinks it's Chenin Blanc.
And our alleged.
So you think this one's the Chenin Blanc and not? I mean, that
The first
my
one.
guess was the last one was our Chenin Blanc. So that'll be interesting.
I think the last wine, it paired better with all of the food. And I think like this one, it's good, but it's not great with kind of everything.
With the arugula salad, it really brings out the arugula, but it doesn't
Yeah.
really the wine.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting sensation.
It's fun to drink it,
Yes,
but
yes.
I feel like if I was like, I mean, I don't know. I'm not building dinner club on this wine.
You would not have your dinner party centered around this one. Okay. Fair enough.
God, it's gonna turn out to be like something that I assume. I bet this is the A to Z Chardonnay that I love so much.
Like I said, I'd be curious. Yeah, that's the thing is that I don't think the Italians age their Pinot Grigio in barrels. I think it's all either, you know, I'll say it's amphoras, but definitely steel.
I'm not getting oak for sure.
Yeah, there's definitely oak, and that's why I'm, you know, I'm almost kind of. So now we're looking at, well, it's either French, but if it was a Chablis, also they don't really age that in oak either. So it's almost like this is a non-mallow, maybe American Chard.
Well, if it was a California wine that was aged in oak and they faked it like that, it's not out of the bounds.
Yeah, because
I mean, I don't buy it. I don't think that's what it is, but it could be, maybe.
Richard, we're a lot more impressed with you even than we were before. And we were pretty impressed with you before.
I'm just confused.
Same. This is a complex tasting. This is fun.
Yeah. Now, all these things that we're doing here, in like the Master Som exam, you have to do 20 of them,
Like
and each of them you have to do within to time it out right. You have to do each of those in about 5 minutes.
Oh. And you don't get any food.
So
and
you have to be able to
reach.
look at it, swirl it, sniff it, taste it, and be able to, you know, within 5 minutes, be able to give, you know, a pretty exact, you know, both description and what you think it is.
Well, and the region, right? You have to say like where it's from.
Yep. Well, and that because yeah, like their blind tasting at Lifetime Vintage, you know, it's more about just, you know, I think we're going a little beyond just what they want, which is just to be able to identify the grapes. You know, we're because, you know, again, you know, as we're doing all these different sessions where we're kind of focusing on regions, is really being able to get that Rolodex in our heads of, you know, which places, you know, have which kind of flavors. You know, and also, you know, like the typical grapes that are for that region.
Yeah.
I don't either.
I probably don't
Like a dinner party. I didn't re-record it.
Right. I feel like we need to move on to reds.
Yeah. Cheers.
What's that?
It's time.
Time for number 3.
Yeah.
Are we pretty comfortable on what we think this one is when we do the reveal later?
I mean,
yeah, I don't think we're comfortable about anything, but you know.
I mean, I think we've got a pretty narrow band. Well, some of us do. I mean, like I said, you know, me, I think I'm focusing. You know, I'm narrowing my scope now to Chard. It's just a matter of whether it's French or American.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to disbelieve myself of the Italian, especially because of that oaky, you know, woody flavor that at least I'm getting from it.
Can
Yeah.
you pick a region in France? Whatever. I don't know what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, you know, like your typical Chardonnay is, I mean, there's really only one main Chardonnay region from France, and that's Chablis in Burgundy.
Oh my God. I like it. I'm going with that. Oh, this is the one.
All right, so number 3.
This is fun.
Okay.
So it's not dark. There's some darker this color. Oh, sorry.
Richard, I've tried to have a conversation with Damien that wine is never brown. It's garnet. It's
Garnet.
never brown.
Wait, okay, so I'm not. So
Garnet moving towards brick.
Right, but it's never brown.
Mm.
We had this long conversation.
Well,
when
if it's
we were-
old, you get
Sorry.
garnet.
Well, it'll, I mean, unless it's like, I don't know, 80 years old or 20 years old that's been stored in like, 110 degree garage.
Yeah, but even if it's Madeira, it's not brown. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, I guess it could be brownish, but even then,
Shit, this is.
but anyway, we had this conversation a lot.
So as I'm looking at this, I mean, it's
It's getting thin.
It's
kind of slow.
kind of light.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think they'd be wider, but I'm always really bad at this.
I'd probably put this at a little almost like a dark red, but it's also very, very clear.
yeah, it's very
Yeah,
clear.
that takes us out of not really. You're not in those mixes.
All right. And then our
This is cool.
spin for our ABV.
Wow. So tobacco. I'm getting the tobacco a lot.
Me too. Smoked. I don't smoke another.
And it's not as in. As I
Well, those are coming down fairly quickly. So, I mean, this is probably in that like 12 and a half to 13 and a half ABV.
Okay.
What I was gonna say.
There isn't a lot of, I wouldn't say there's a lot of yeah. I was going to say like for the staining, that'd kind of tell us whether or not it's kind of a warmer area or not.
Yeah, I'm not seeing that.
Yeah,
layer
I'm not
of
seeing too much
purple on the
staining.
top.
Medium cherry, raspberry.
I'm not thinking it's got a Cab Franc and it on top, but we'll see.
But it's like it's the other side.
All right. So let's give it our spin and sniff.
Kind of liking the nose. Wow.
Hmm.
It could be essential based. I'm happy, but it could be essential based.
So I get fruit.
I'm getting cherry.
Essential base is it's a
So
whatever.
now
What's that?
we're looking at our cheat sheet of reds.
I think they're darker. I don't think
Oh, I gotta turn it over.
the Sangiovese is one of my favorites. And
So what are we getting on the smell here?
that would recommend.
I'm getting tobacco, leather, blueberry,
Really?
smoke.
Wow. I'm not getting that at all.
You
I
can-
would say more on the berry, and I would say a little bit of both in the middle.
Raspberry,
I think
blueberry.
I think there's a lot of Grenache in this if I had to bet.
Well, I think these are going to be like single varietals.
Really?
I'm pretty sure.
I would guess. Yeah, make it simpler.
Hmm.
I mean, other than what maybe they
Or four mushrooms.
quote unquote blend it with because of regulatory that you can call something like a Sangio at as long as it's 75% Sangio or yeah.
Like a little bit of like the blackberry up here, or the blueberry. I'm getting blueberry. God, that's
All right. Well, that's going to be really interesting then. Super fun because I love tasting single varietals.
up front.
Well,
is
then I can say it's.
red.
I can tell you what it's not. I can't tell you what it is.
So for me,
Skylar also tastes. Skylar also smells tobacco, so she totally agrees with you, Rob.
Thank you, Skylar.
yeah.
Team Rob.
Cheers.
Well, this is, I mean, yeah, to me, like fruit isn't the first thing. I mean, there might be like a little bit of blue and black in there, but this is definitely not,
Hmm.
there's that kind of cola leather tobacco that's much more to the forefront.
So
I'm loving the nose.
This could
I
be-
enjoy it.
this could be a Syrah.
A Syrah? I'm still going with Cab Sav.
I think it's a little, well, just from the look, I that right there kind of, to me, discludes Syrah, because Syrahs are going to be much darker than this. They're opaque to like,
So you're going with
and
a
they're going to be
blend?
almost like purple.
You're going with a
Yeah.
blend, or are you still thinking it maybe it's a single varietal?
It's going to be a Merlot. It's going to be a Merlot.
A
and it's gonna
Merlot?
be from-
It doesn't smell like Merlot. I'm gonna tell you, it doesn't.
Doesn't,
I've
just-
been
Well,
working on
that
this.
depends
It doesn't
on the
smell like
Merlot. I mean, if it's a French Merlot,
Okay,
Yeah. And I'm like East Bank, Burgundy, something like that.
okay,
Which-
agree. It doesn't smell like an American
You're not gonna
Merlot,
use
because I've
single
worked
variety.
on that.
yeah, like if it's either like Southern Rhone, or I mean, usually there though you're getting like, or not Southern, but yeah, Southern Rhone, whether it's like a GSM, or that's never mind. That's
Yeah, but that's Grenache,
better.
and that's what
yeah,
I said.
that's Mourvèdre, not Merlot. Yeah,
Right, but it doesn't smell like Mourvèdre either, because Mourvèdre is a lot darker.
no, I mean, this is definitely on that dark fruit, but like I said, I think we're
I think we just need to taste it.
I think at this point, yeah. Let's try. Cheers.
I mean, I'm calling it Rhone Merlot. I think that's what it is.
Oh, wow. A nice wine.
It's got a strong finish. It's nice.
I'm like,
Hmm.
okay, what am I tasting?
But so I think this tastes like it smells, or what I would expect it to taste like.
It's definitely, I would say it's New World. I'm sorry, it's Old World, not New World.
It definitely tastes Old World.
Which is not my area of expertise, but so I'm going to defer to somebody else, but it could be GSM.
I would drink this. This is it.
Yeah, this is delicious.
Like,
Well,
if
it's
I-
good because you are drinking it.
A snack of this
yeah, like
in a case.
not the case. Throw on a wine rack. Enjoy this with some pulled pork, maybe a hamburger. This would be great with a hamburger.
Oh, yeah.
Richard, if it is GSM, that would make sense. The tobacco would be the Mourvèdre. I smelled the Grenache. And the Syrah would be not so much that would make it so purple.
So I like Merlot and Grenache, and I think that we would have to know the weather, and that's beyond me. Like, what do you think, Richard? Could it be either
Wait, which ones?
or Merlot and Grenache?
It is definitely, well, depending on the Grenache. I mean, it might look dark, but it would be a lot more thin in terms of its like the mouthfeel. And this is definitely got a much more kind of like that bold mouthfeel to it.
You're saying it's not going to be a GSM. You think it's a single variety.
I'm pretty certain that because we have our cheat sheet with specific varietals, that all of these tastings are all going to be single varietals.
And I would call this Rhone. I like that. You mentioned that earlier, and I feel like if it was a mix, we'll just call it Rhone, and it's gonna have Merlot in it, right?
Well, see, then I wonder if it's Nebbiolo.
With the ribeye. it's-
Nebbiolo is also like super dark.
Okay.
Yeah, this is lighter than like anything I would expect.
Let's go with the ribeye. Amazing. Wow.
But and also at the same time, Nebbiolo, well, I mean, again, with the cheat sheet, we'd be looking at a lot more red fruit instead of, at least for me, we're looking at definitely much more on that kind of like black and blue.
Great taste. Yeah, some raspberry, but not the pork chop, right?
Hmm.
Or you ever look at the tasting room? I love,
I do, yeah.
I love that thing.
Me too.
Okay, so Skylar thinks Cab Franc.
Oh shit. Yeah, that brings out the fruit a lot. It's good. That's
Which kind of fruit is coming out for you?
we paired it with this. It's like a ribeye steak with like this Hawaiian glaze on it.
Okay.
So there's some sweetness to it. But yeah, I think it's almost pushing it towards raspberry, which is not. But that might be the sweetness because there's kind of some sugar in the glaze, maybe, and soy sauce.
Yeah, and salt also, yeah.
And pineapple.
Yeah,
It's a pineapple.
pineapple, right.
But it's delicious. It is a divine.
Richard, what are you thinking?
Me, I'm thinking this is like it's either it's an old world, either Zinfandel or Tempranillo.
Yeah, Zinfandel.
Really?
I agree with Zinfandel, for sure.
Okay.
I say Zen too.
Sticking with old world. This is where I be.
Just because I mean it's got all those telltale, that we're getting that tobacco leather, along with it just being kind of like more of that like that dark fruit.
They stay in the mind with us.
I think it's more like a purple than a carne.
I forgot to
I'm
even
such
do
a
the
New World girl. It just tastes so different, Old World style.
Actually, let me take a look at this real quick. That's the one thing I forgot to do with the site is see what kind of age we're looking at on the rim variation.
Oh, this is young. In my opinion.
Tastes really good with the manchego.
I agree.
And no, there isn't that kind of like there isn't a bit of that where it's starting to get to that, I don't want to say brown, but where you're starting to see like a rim of that brick.
Yeah, the garnet.
Yeah. And this has more almost like a pink ring. So this is definitely on the like 2 to 3 year old. This is still pretty a new red. So I'd probably put this at like 2018, 2019.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm definitely much more in it's either Spanish Tempranillo or I'm trying to think of who actually does Zin.
The Zin.
Yeah. Out in the old world.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about that too.
I mean, there's the Italians.
Spain, Portugal. I mean, I'm just trying to think of where would be hot enough to grow it.
Yeah, because that would definitely be Italian, because they still do a lot of the head training there.
Okay.
For their because for some reason Zin loves to be head trained instead of the trellising where it kind of goes up and then out. Zin and it's the way that a lot of the old vines out in California also do, where it's just this like giant root that kind of goes up and then kind of goes out, and all the grapes just kind of go off. It looks kind of like a bush.
Yep.
Though a lot of places are actually starting to tear all those down, unfortunately.
Why?
Because trellising, all the grapes are like right there on on pretty much those wires, which then allows your machinery to just come through and pick all of those as it goes down the lane, instead of with head training, they're kind of like all over that bush. And so someone has to go around, by hand clipping all those clusters.
I like those little vines.
Oh yeah, no, and they're good. It's just that you know, it's not economically feasible for a lot of people, especially if they're doing, you know, mass production. And you know, which to me, you know, I would rather sacrifice, you know, a little bit of tradition for being able to harvest grapes at the moment that they're ready, instead of, you know, crossing your fingers that you're going to be able to find a team to, you know, do that at the time when they're ready.
Interesting.
Which one? Oh, the olive.
Because I think you can get, you know, like harvesting machinery within 2 days, while, you know, like getting the picking team could be anywhere between like a week and a month.
But is that the difference between $20 for a bottle of wine and $21 for a bottle of wine?
A little bit more than that.
I don't.
I had the pleasure of tasting old vines from Australia that were like 80 to 90 years old.
Oh yeah.
It was
I mean,
crazy.
California has that, right? Like they have,
there's a couple out in especially Lodi.
yeah, Lodi. That's what I've been buying.
Yeah, they've got some. There's a couple of wineries out there that say that they've got, I think it's like upwards of like 110 or 120-year-old Zen vines.
It's crazy. It's so good.
Yeah,
It's
but
so
but
good.
but Australia, though, you know, it's kind of, there's a reason why they have old vines, you know, and that's because for them, phylloxera never hit, and they're very, you know, stringent about what comes in, and so that phylloxera like louse never, you know, so they didn't have a you know, where things just kind of wiped out a bunch of the vines.
Nope.
But for you know, America or even France and, well, pretty much the rest of the world that did get hit by phylloxera, to have, you know, anything over 100 years old is kind of a testament.
Yeah. No, Australia, they do not let you come in with like a banana.
Well, at least from when I've been, you know, studying up on the different regions for you know, the presentations for these, so far there's been 2 places that have their agricultural imports completely locked down, and that's Australia and Chile.
Yep. I've been to Australia 3 times, and they're very strict. Like they really, they're like, no.
Yeah.
You don't care. And this was before COVID. This was before anything. They were very strict. They were like, we care. We're an island. No.
I want to believe this is the same, but I can't do it. This is around the world.
Okay.
So Kurt's thinking Rhone.
Wow.
I mean, I just feel it has to be. I don't know. That's okay. You guys can prove it wrong.
I'm sorry, I've gone on to number 4 because I want my wine to like breathe in my glass, and the legs in number 4 are like.
Well, you're getting definitely ahead of us, Rob.
Yeah, sorry. I'll hush up.
Should we have a definitive what we think it's going to be, or are we just going to talk about it when we close the door?
Yeah, when we get around to opening each of the, or unwrapping each of the bottles, you know, I guess everybody will kind of give our impressions and what we think, and then we'll unwrap and see what we got.
Dun, 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 dun.
Wood. Is it? Are you getting that? Or? So this is gonna be French. It's gonna be Cab Franc. It's gonna be.
I'm also getting raspberry.
Are we ready to pour 4?
My Medoc. Medoc.
I will be in about 5 seconds.
But you don't have to chug it.
Oh, I got
You're the guy.
This is Cab Franc. This is Cab Franc, and it's from Medoc. That's my guess.
All right. So we are on to our final bottle, number 4.
And it's 20.
Yep. And as I'm showing off the label, you know, if you're ever wanting to train to be a somm, you know, that is, you know, a technique that you'll have to learn, is always presenting the label to the customer, you know, now and as you pour.
My intent is actually to lose customers.
That's the hardest part.
5 minutes to drink wine. Impress my girlfriends with wine.
There you go.
Beautiful color. It's dark.
Yeah, I think this is fantastic. I love this number 4.
Oh, that is lovely, lovely, lovely.
Now, I don't know, to me, this actually looks lighter than our last one. This is, to me, this is looking much more on the red.
Or red. Still a little garden.
Yeah,
More
it's
red.
darker. I mean, I was looking at it through the light. This is darker. This is more garnet. It's darker.
You're not seeing the ruby in there?
No, I'm saying it's ruby. It's darker.
Yeah, yeah. Cheers. I agree.
It's definitively darker. No, because I'm not even in my kitchen. I have all this great lighting and I'm like, oh yeah, it's darker. I wish this was my kitchen. It'd be awesome, but yeah.
Now darker is in like opaque, or
Yeah,
darker is
opaque.
in like because I mean, to me this
Darker in tone. So the other was clear. I mean, this is clear. This is also clear, but this is a darker tone of red.
but
So this is more like-
it's still red comparatively to purple.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm getting no.
This is verging on, this is purpler than the last one.
I'm getting opaque ruby. What are you getting?
Like
I'm not getting purple at all. I'm getting redder. And that's
like
like
for me, I'm looking at this thing and it looks red.
Well, I mean, there's a red to it, but this is a darker red than the last one.
so it's a more opaque red. I think that's a huge thing.
Yeah. Well,
I'm just saying if there's that layer on the top.
This is a new wine. I don't see age in this wine, in my opinion.
I don't know. I still don't see the purple layer on top, Richard. I don't. Do you?
no, I like I said, to me, I don't see any purple to this at all. This is, to me, this looks red.
All right. I see it's a little darker looking through a light. But I like red and this is a shade darker.
Okay.
So,
Well, let's
but
give
I've
it
also had another glass of wine since then. So, you know, we'll take that for what it is.
okay. Now the legs on this are coming down real fast.
Yeah, but I don't trust legs. They are coming down real fast.
So it's not as high as alcohol.
No.
Maybe 13.5.
Yeah. I would be highly surprised if this was 13.5. This is like
Really?
12.5 to 13.
I'm going at 15.
Yeah, I agree.
If this is a 12.5 red, it's $2 shot.
I think it's 15. I think it's crazy. It's 15.
I don't know. These
Oh,
are
Tyler
pulling down like
Tyler thinks
super fast.
14.5.
Like I could see 13 fair.
Okay. All
I
right.
think 13 is
All right.
but I missed that every time.
You know, I'm not going to fist fight you, but I think it's.
I think it's gonna kick her.
I'm
You're seeing like wide and thick, or are you seeing slow?
seeing slow. Yeah. There's more salad. You good?
Yeah.
Salad.
Richard, I tasted a place where everything was like 14.9 or more. It was crazy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, especially if it's a hot region, everything's
Yeah.
going to be like super ripe and super.
Everything was grown on Red Mountain, but they also were, everything was too smooth. I will say, they like made everything, for me, everything was too smooth. I was like, they should have left it some things a little bit, I
Yeah.
don't know.
But there also isn't a lot of staining going on. There's like a little bit, but I don't see a lot of staining in the tiers as they're pulling down either.
Yeah.
Maybe that takes away. these.
So, all right, well, let's give it our spin and sniff.
Another. What else?
You're getting tobacco.
Yeah.
So I'm getting olivey, like olive.
Red fruit, strawberry, red,
What I get,
and blackberry.
which sometimes is associated with tobacco.
See, I don't know. I lost.
Tyler gets leather.
Leather. Okay.
I'm getting
And
strawberry.
Tyler also
I got
thinks it's darker than the last one.
Yeah, this is-
So Kurt, you're getting strawberry?
which is very different than what everybody else is saying. I probably have COVID.
Well,
Okay.
well, I mean, well, we haven't even gotten to the fruits. Everyone's like, the funny thing is that everyone keeps saying, you know, well, non-fruit that they're getting on the nose, which, you know, well, you know, that right there is already kind of identifying that this is probably more old world if we're getting a lot more leather than fruit.
Yes, I
But,
agree.
but that's what I'm saying. I'm moving this wine to California.
But what are you getting from the body? Like medium to full? I'm getting kind of like a finish.
I haven't,
I have to taste it,
we
but
haven't tasted it yet, so we
Pretty
can't
full,
get
it's
to the
pretty
body
good.
yet.
I mean, I'm getting, you know, also tobacco-y. That's what I'm also getting on it.
yeah, so that tobacco oak, I'm not getting that really, like maybe just a little bit. And more pepper than tobacco even.
Yes,
Oh,
definitely black pepper.
Okay. And maybe that's what I mean by olive. That's interesting.
Yeah, I could see.
Yeah,
all of
it's
it
much
there.
more in that kind of like weird vegetal, kind of almost
Well, I mean,
browny.
it's say interesting because I don't like black pepper at all and I don't cook with it at all. So that may be why I smell
But
olive rather than
Your
pepper.
olive would pair with that green pepper kind of thing. So that would put on this chart as your Sangiovese Cab Franc Malbec. I'm going back to Cab Franc. This is Cab Franc.
Well, me, yeah, because I'm
I don't
There could
know.
be
It
a-
doesn't look,
We have
it would be darker if it was Cab Franc, but anyway, we'll see.
I swear I'm getting there's a cherry element to this.
Right. So I'm calling it red fruit then. We're just gonna do it.
Yeah, there's definitely a red fruit. At least again, for me, I'm definitely smelling red fruit.
I'm voting for Sangiovese now. That's one of my favorite wines.
Okay. Cheers.
We need Tuscany represented.
Hey, should we taste?
All right, we're drinking. that.
Anyone else have any guesses, or well, any other notes that people are
No.
getting,
Good play.
and then guesses?
I don't really get like forest floor. I think it's more in the, I mean, I think we're getting, Richard, the tobacco leather, oregano, green pepper, black pepper. Those are the categories, and maybe a little red.
Andy, olives?
No, I don't like olives.
No, sorry. Grapes, nuts.
Hmm.
Oh, that's probably
Maybe blackberry.
Corey says maybe blackberry.
Okay,
It's a very subtle fruit note.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah. I
Yeah.
agree.
and because of it being, you know, much more on that subtle. I mean, to me, this is definitely screaming old world. It's kind of been crazy that most of these have been
old world.
much more subtle. Other than maybe the one that I thought was a shard. That's the only one that, you know, was much more kind of like on the fruity. All right, well, let's give this thing our taste. So cheers.
Cheers, second, fourth one, let's go.
I'm calling it Sangiovese. It has to be.
Okay.
Oh,
I'm
that
feeling
is Bing cherries.
Yeah,
Really?
Sangiovese.
Because I'm getting the tobacco and the oak.
I'm getting tobacco or oak behind the cherry though. It does come through in the taste. I didn't get to the nose.
Mm.
But yeah, there's also that kind of like there's like an herby.
Yep, like an oregano-y.
Yeah, I'm
But not a long finish, which is what we would have out of a new world,
yes.
because there'd be more of an oak and it'd be longer.
You're taking Cab Sauv over Cab Franc.
I don't think it's like, well, I don't know new world, I don't know old world Cab Franc. But I don't think it's dark enough to be a Cab Franc.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, Cab Francs are kind of on that kind of like dark red. I wouldn't say they'd be going over to purple yet, but they're pretty dark. and but they also have a lot of that, like green bell pepper
They do.
vegetable.
I'm just at such a disadvantage. I don't know old world flavors. It's really interesting.
Well, I mean, really for old world, it's always that question of, well, are you the first thing that you notice, is it the fruit or is it something not fruit? and that kind of is the limiter between old world and new world. But I
I'm
mean,
just used to tasting it with the oak, so I'm like, that's that, that's
Yeah.
this, that's that.
though, as winemakers, do all sorts of funky things, that those lines are really starting to fuzz. Yeah, because there's some old world places that are, you could swear that this was, something from California.
Mm-hmm. So I'm getting a little bit more of the fruit in the middle.
What do you think fruit? Like cherry, raspberry, strawberry, blackberry, blueberry?
Well, see, this is where I don't know if it's open to suggestion. So I don't know. I'm just going to say fruit. But I'm tasting more fruit in the middle of this, which I didn't on my first sip.
And twirling the glass helps open it up a little.
Yeah, no, I know. And my first is always my interesting, but there's definitely a stronger oak tobacco, which, given that it's old world, means that is the grape, as opposed to, because their oak is not as strong. So it's definitely the grape is giving that off more so, because they showcase the fruit or the grape rather than the oak. I think it's a cab.
That's what Rob likes.
I think it's a cab too.
Okay.
Just from the olivey smell.
Do you want to go a little bit further and say a cab from where?
If it's old world, I have no idea, because I just have not tasted enough European wines.
Well, I mean, pretty much cab in the old world is one place, and that is Left Bank Bordeaux.
Yeah, so that's where I would say it is. I mean, I didn't want to read the label, but it says Felsina, which I don't even know what that means, but so I'm like, well, it sounds Greek, but
What did you read from the?
So my label says, with an accent, Felsina.
Oh, that's a Sangiovese if I ever seen one. Does that sound Italian?
Felsina. But that's what I'm going to say, because I know that olivey smell. I have smelled it a lot. That's my gut.
Okay. Have you been writing down your answers?
Oh, I have.
We've been writing down the answers.
Especially when I disagree with everybody else, and I'm just hiding it.
Ready to do it?
So Skylar's starting to find the cherry in this.
Yeah, she said that when we were discussing the fruit, she was like, she definitely thinks it's cherry.
Okay.
Wow.
This is really fun.
So this is my favorite wine tonight. Hopefully it's not a Merlot.
It's a Pinot, Kurt, sorry.
The first one is great for eating with stuff.
Rob, what do you think it is?
Kurt thinks is the best wine ever. So I'm teasing him, saying it must be a Pinot Noir.
Best of the night.
It's not a Pinot Noir. It's so much more.
I agree. I'm teasing him. It's like my buddy.
It has so much more depth.
Yeah, it's a Cab Sav, obviously.
If we find out it's a Merlot, I'm gonna break shit.
So
Nah.
Skylar thinks this is Cab Franc, and she thinks number 3 is Tempranillo.
Okay.
Pellegrino is a smart thing to say for number 3 because he just got back from Mexico. And I missed Pellegrino hard.
I'm gonna try it with some
It's
food.
South America, it's Pellegrino.
Obviously, this is my favorite because it's the deepest and has the most layers. And if you watch British Baking, Mary Berry is very into the layers.
Have you made the globe of chocolate yet?
No, I haven't made any of it. I just watch them make it. I'm like, oh, that looks great. I don't have time for that shit.
All right. Well, as we're kind of finishing up our last glass, I hope everyone has written down all of their guesses. And
Why would we do that?
let's
Eric, I want to know what you think number 4 is.
what I think number 4 is.
Yeah, what do you think?
I think it is definitely Sangio. So
So you agree with Kurt?
I'm going to guess that it's either like a Chianti Classico or it's going to be like a Super Tuscan where it's mostly Sangio with like a little bit of cab in there.
I can see Super Tuscan for sure. Yeah.
But it
Well,
to
Kurt,
me,
aren't you glad I asked? Now, if you're right, you're gonna feel like I'm like a song.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, man, the first wine, Chenin Blanc, South Africa, last wine, Chianti. And I would do the classical, the first one you said, not the second.
yeah,
If I'm right.
it's that cherry and almost like tomato vine that sealed it for me.
And you need to get some of Rob's salad. You got to come back up here because shit, man, they're nailing this.
All right.
So good. I mean, it's so good.
Okay.
You can do it.
So, number 1. What was everyone's guesses on this?
What was the
South Africa.
So,
Chardonnay for Rob, Chenin Blanc, South Africa for Kurt.
Can we say Chenin Blanc?
Yep.
Okay, so we had for number 1, we had a Pinot Grigio, a Sauv Blanc, and then a Chenin Blanc.
oh, so those are your kind of guesses as to what it could be.
Yep.
Put down what everybody was saying.
Okay.
Chardonnay, is that right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's give our reveal.
Dun, 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 dun.
The top up and fill it.
That's nothing.
Okay. So we have a French
Oh,
Sancerre.
it's a sale.
What?
Now, well, again, so Sancerre.
So this is Loire. This is the Loire, which is the
Loire
North
Valley.
Valley.
What is
This
this
is
on
Loire
there?
Valley. This is Chardonnay from Loire Valley.
Well done.
Like what? So it's a Chardonnay and it's Loire Valley.
Wait. Oh. Let me confirm real quick. I'm trying to remember if Sancerre is Chardonnay or not.
I've heard of Sancerre, I just don't know what it is.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Chardonnay, but
Yes, thank you for confirming.
Oh, no, Sancerre is Sauv Blanc.
Oh my gosh, and you said it wasn't, and I crossed it out.
Yes, it's South
Skylar's like, whoop, that's what she thought it was.
You said it was because they ran fast.
Yeah, I think Skylar called Sauv Blanc, didn't you?
Skylar, you stuck to your guns. I should have. I was like, well, I'm saying it couldn't be and it couldn't be, so I crossed it off. I was listening to the sum.
Oh, there you go. I called it too.
Janet, you did too. You guys are awesome. I was too easily influenced.
All right, so let's go on with number 2. So, what did everyone think of number 2?
I'm calling it Viognier. How do you pronounce that?
Viognier?
Yeah.
Okay.
but I'm not confident.
Corey, what did everybody else say, Corey?
All right, so we have a Gewürztraminer and 2 Chardonnays.
Gewürztraminer here also.
I may apologize.
Okay. Me, I'm calling a probably a 2020 Chard. I'm not sure on the French or American, but I'm leaning towards American.
All right. Dun, da, 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 da. Santa Barbara 2019 Chardonnay,
There you are.
but it's French style.
French style, which yeah, because well, okay. Now that I'm almost a little ticked at Lifetime Vintage, because I mean these things were supposed to not be like curveballs, and you know them doing typical American Chardonnay should not be French style Chardonnay from America. which is why we were getting such, you know, like at least for me, you know, it was like, yes, this has the flavor profile for fruit from America, but it doesn't have that creamy, you know, ness that you would think of that's typical of American Chard.
It didn't have the malolactin. Awesome.
All right. All right. Number 3. All right.
Number 3. Corey, what did we have for guesses on that one?
Merlot, Cab Franc, and Zinfandel.
Okay. Rob or Kurt? So I definitely have Zin. I just don't know if it's Italian or American.
I have Zin also, and I've got 14.5 for the alcohol.
Okay.
I secretly thought it was Nebbiolo, but we'll see.
Let's see.
Oh, Rob, you were right. It's Pinot Noir.
Wow.
Dang!
From Old World? What?
It's Pinot Noir from
That's
Willamette Valley.
Willamette.
Dang!
I wasn't
Oh,
getting
this
that.
Look at the wrong thing in there.
Way.
Yeah.
2017.
I'm with Skylar. I did not think that this was light, or it didn't have the mushroom. It didn't have.
Agreed. That's why I was sticking with Nebbiolo. I thought it was Nebbiolo. I was like, I think it's Nebbiolo.
They mislabeled this one 100%.
Maybe because it's their reserve that, you know, they have a, you know, a darker, you know, later harvest grape. I don't know,
Not
but
fair.
Not typical of it.
I would not say that,
They're tricking us again, right?
yeah, because I mean I scoured Willamette Valley for like a good Pinot, and I mean,
Because this is a good Pinot. I don't like Pinots.
Yeah, this I would have been like, okay, you convinced me. I like Pinot.
I agree. This was decent. This was good. But Rob, you called it. You said it was like, you were like Pinot, and I'm like, nah, it can't be a Pinot. Good call, man. You're the only one who got it all right. And we all poo-pooed you. We're like, nah.
Yeah, like, wow.
You were joking about the fourth quality.
All right. So number 4. What was everyone's guesses?
I say Cab Sav.
Cab Sav.
Corey, go ahead.
Cab Sav, Cab Franc.
We have Malbec, Cab Sav, and then a Tempranillo.
Tempranillo. Okay. Kurt,
I'm talking Sangiovese.
you're going Sangiovese.
Oh, Sangiovese.
I'm going
That's
Sangiovese.
right. You've been Sangiovese all the way. Okay.
Oh, I see DOCC.
It's what Richard said. It's a Chianti Classico. No way.
It's actually got an ABV higher than I was thinking. I thought that it was actually more towards like the 12.5, but it's 13.5.
13.5. So what does a Chianti Classico have in it though? What is it?
That is just almost all Sangiovese grape. Yeah,
So
Chianti.
you were right. He was right. Kurt, we heard it here.
I got 25%, which I count as a passing score.
Chianti.
Yeah, that poor first one killed me.
So what
Yeah,
everyone think? Was this?
I got 25% too. So 25%. Skylar got 25%. How many of us got 25%?
So I got.
Wait,
So I
the first one
I
was a
got
sausage
50.
blanc, Was the first-
Wow.
like a French Sauvignon Blanc.
Say again, Corey.
What was the first wine?
So the first wine is Sancerre, which is Sauvignon Blanc.
So,
Okay, so yeah, I got 50%.
50? Get out of here.
Yeah, I guess the first two by luck.
Wow.
Yeah, no, I'd say that these were definitely not. I would say that, yeah, as much as they said that these were WSET, kind of standards for what was from that region. I'm not as convinced, but it was still a really fun exercise. What everyone think of doing this?
Last one before.
I just can't believe the Pinot. That was like
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah,
Because that's sideways. Nobody likes Pinot. Blah.
I don't know the answer balance, but like my favorite.
Pinot Noir is the most maligned one of them all, and yet.
yeah.
No, I'm a line below.
Well, to me, yeah, Pinot Noir is my sideways version of Merlot. Like
I eat a lot of pulled pork, which is good with a Pinot Noir.
Okay.
Kansas City barbecue sauce, you put some sweetness in there, it works.
Nah. Oh, I mean, especially after tasting all these, talking about Kansas City barbecue, for me, it would definitely be Gates barbecue with that Chianti.
And I would do Gates barbecue with the Lodi's in because I love Lodi's in.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, yeah, well, your Zin is going to have a lot more of that black pepper than even the Chianti will. So yeah, and Gates, I mean that's all you taste in their barbecue is black pepper.
Did you do Jack Stack while you were here?
No,
I was there the other day with a client meeting.
I did Gates, Joe's, and whichever one.
Arthur Bryant's, right?
Like whichever one Obama visited.
I don't remember that.
I don't know. I guess it's like one of the older places that's kind of like down in the hood.
I think that's Arthur Bryant's, which is like a really vinegary sauce,
Right.
which is like from the beginning of time barbecue.
Right, other Bryant's.
That sounds familiar.
Like they were cooking barbecue before they had matches at Arthur Bryant's.
Gotta check my album for.
Yeah, they were using Flint, That's how they were doing it.
Back in the day when barbecue was good.
Sorry, what? We were talking.
I'm talking Kansas City barbecue, Janet.
Which one is that? Number 3? You want to open one?
The city barbecue?
No, I've got wine in the basement.
Kansas City barbecue.
Oh no.
I guess we'll say.
What about it?
Have the
They're just discussing different Kansas City barbecue places.
Oh, no, I have no idea.
Yeah. Arthur Bryant's. That was the other place.
We were
I think it takes a
talking
minute
about
to get used to
names
them.
that you know and then eat.
So well, again, what did everyone think of actually doing like a blind tasting, comparatively to, just kind of getting a bit of a lesson? You feel, I want to say you feel more confident, but in terms of being able to really kind of parse out, like what you're smelling, what you're tasting. I find these as like really fun exercises, and I don't know if there's a way to, other than through Lifetime Vintage, there's a way to, get wines that you have no idea about. I guess you could have you could tell your friend to go just, buy a couple of bottles of wine and, cover them up so that you could, do more blind tastings. But yeah.
Do you think you can talk to them and say, like, let's just do $30 a bottle? Or do you think they put more time and effort into mailing them?
Now, well, actually, I mean, we still got some, like I said, the only thing that I didn't like was that they did almost like the Psalm,
like try to trick you.
Yeah. It's like, oh, this one's interesting, but it's not typical.
Yeah.
Right.
And, for a blind tasting, you want something that's typical because you're not, you're not going with like master psalms. So you're not going to be able to, they have like that really nuanced, way of being able to do things that I'm definitely not at. Because again, they did some weird reserve for their Pinot Noir. They did a French style American Chard. I guess the only one that was, well, the two were kind of the ends. The beginning and the end were supposedly the, what you kind of do, like almost like traditional, except I don't know. Apparently for me, I didn't get anywhere near Sauv Blanc for number one, but apparently at least, well, I'm thankful that at least someone did.
I would have, but then I was like, well, if Richard says it's not, then it must not be.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I wasn't getting a lot of those, like the notes and everything that were in that, but especially the citrus. I was not getting citrus.
No, I didn't get any citrus either, but I was like, well, maybe.
You've got good taste. I know that.
Right. So a little bit before I close this out for at least the recording. So our next one that I might actually record it. So we're not going to be doing one in 3 weeks. I'll be actually doing one in 4 weeks for those of you that are going to be at the Mensa World Gathering. I'm going to be gathering up a bunch of box wine, and we're going to be trying box wine.
Woo!
Well, and because I'm, my hope and plan is to make believers out of a bunch of people that box wine is actually pretty darn good, and especially for the value. There's one in particular that I know is just going to rock your socks.
So Richard, are you gonna do Zoom or is it only gonna be live?
No, I'll put up a Zoom event.
Okay, cool. Just asking. I'm not going because I have a kid that goes to school and it's kind of inconvenient with that. So unfortunately, I won't be there live.
Yeah, but after that, so after the World Gathering, I do have another one, the next one planned, and it's a region that we've kind of like gone around, but never really concentrated on, and that's only because there's two main grapes that are there, but I'm hoping that we can find some others, and that's Argentina.
Oh, cool.
So we're definitely going to be doing, Malbec and Cab Sauv. I'm just hoping that that they've got a couple of, and maybe we'll do like 2 Malbecs just for different parts, like one from Mendoza, which is like the main region, and maybe we can find something that's from somewhere else within Argentina, and
awesome.
And then, whatever else we can find. But yeah, I think that's going to be our next, region that we concentrate on for our next. So on that note, go ahead and wave bye to all the YouTubers out there, and we'll continue on with our partying and drinking without y'all. So see ya.